Howdy, statisticians. So today we're actually going to start doing hypothesis testing and not just talking about all the little pieces that go with it. But before we can do that, you need to go to the locker and print out this worksheet. And Patches is going to wait enthusiastically for you. So we're picking up where we left off, which is problem 7. And I want you to read this prompt and make little notes. Underline, I spy with my little eye, all that good stuff. Things that are useful in this paragraph as you read it. So pause the video while you do that. So, of course, what I spied with my little eye was the claim. I circled that in blue. Random sample of 35. Two important pieces of information. One is, of course, sample size. And the other is that it's SRS. And then from that sample, I have two values. One was the mean, and the other was the standard deviation. So I would actually put some symbols to those so that I know what they are when I get ready to use those. And of course, n equals 35. That's a nice number. All right, so I'm trying to get evidence against the claim. So in other words, they really want me to do a hypothesis test. So in terms of setting this up, I need to know the components of what I'm going to have to do, and we're going to flip to the next page first, and then we'll come back to this. So as we look at this page, it's going to tell you all the steps that you have to do, and the only issue that I have with it is comparing this to your inference template. It's missing a step, so we're going to put that as the pre-step. We'll call it step 0. Now, the order that you do these in really doesn't matter, but so on your inference template, sometimes I start at the very top and sometimes I actually fill in some of the other boxes first, and then I go back to the name. The name will always be simple, mostly because your hamsters will tell you which test to use, sort of, because it has all of them internally. One of the first steps, again, these first 3 steps really are sort of interchangeable in terms of which order I put them in, but that's to check the conditions. It would be nice if I could actually spell it. That's better. And of course, I told you in a previous video that one acronym that you can use to help you remember is that you are committing a sin when you check the conditions. So the first one is it an SRS? Remember, you have to state something about whether or not you've checked it. And independence, but the way that we check independence is by making sure that the probability rules are preserved. That's the importance of independence. And so we check it by assuming that n, capital N, is greater than or equal to 10n. And then your normality check. And remember, dependent upon whether you are doing means or proportions, the rules are a little different. So x bar, we use CLT, and p hat, we use n times p and n times 1 minus p, both greater than or equal to 10. Then the next step is to write your hypotheses. And again, it is quite possible to start with those first and then go back and do the other 2 steps just prior to it, but add them in second and third. So now, your options for hypotheses is 1 of 3. Of course, every hypothesis will have 2, both the null and the alternative. So that's the same no matter what you do. And both of them, regardless of whether it's null or alternative, are always written in terms of the claim.